Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to announce I've completed the European account free-to-play speedrun. I started this on December 4 and ended it 65 days later. Previously, on my American account, I started at 1.6 and finished it at 2.1 at around 90 days. And my main account, I started at 1.0 and cleared on 1.2. I wasn't planning it on being a speedrun, but I did spend money for it and it's not a free-to-play speedrun, so whatever. I just wanted to throw that out there. But you're not here for that, aren't you? On all of these accounts, I did notice a re-emerging pattern. A pattern that might explain why your account feels like it can never clear endgame or never comfortably like others do. Note that this is Feelscrafting, by the way, in which I don't present any credible evidence outside of my own opinion and analysis of my personal experience. This video will be a dissection of why your account feels painful in clearing endgame and how you might be an easier target of power creep despite all your knowledge and effort. Before we start, I want to put a disclaimer here that after the announcement of strengthening older characters, this may end up being a problem of the past, in which case, good. But as it currently stands, this video is my true opinion on the current state of things and something that I learned while making these new accounts. First, let me detail the new player experience. In all three of my accounts that started on 1.0, 1.6, 2.7, one thing was consistent. This isn't exclusive to Starrail, by the way. But the new player experience is amazing. Even if you're not an endgame player, as the game continues to evolve, there's so many side quests, story quests, achievements, and a lot of stuff that you could sink your teeth into. It's likely that you won't get bored pretty soon with how much stuff there is in the game on a fresh account. If you want to clear endgame though, for good and for bad, the devs are exactly balanced to make newer players feel better. As an example, characters like the Herta and Aglaya have multi-banners that have units that are in general very good and works well with them. Herta is noticeably more of an attractive pull due to her low-cost teams for high returns. Characters from the past like Akron were also similar to this and let new players destroy endgame at a frightening rate of speed, which made me able to speedrun in the first place. Power creep is obviously not a problem for new players due to this. The value of a 5-star in Starrail usually always goes up as more time passes due to the nature of HP inflation. Even starting your pulls at Rapa will net you a really strong option to blitz through endgame. The amount of resources you get to pull what you want is so high that it's not a struggle to pull the best team at the start, and you won't feel the effects of weak investment since you can fix it by just pulling more. Truthfully, an account's first 36-star will often be the time where it feels like an account is at its peak strength. Of course, that also means going forward it's all downhill from here. Nothing, especially in a gacha game, lasts forever. One day the backlog will be cleared and you will be regulated to daily jades as your only source of income. Depending on how much of a life you have, this can last up to 3 months to half a year. For a casual player, the burnout process may start here. Finally catching up to the story, they may simply forget Starrail exists and never play it again. The biggest struggle for a casual player here is to log in daily to get as much characters as possible that they like, but the content drought might kill them or force them to try endgame and feel bad about themselves. Of course, being a casual can also mean not caring at all and just logging in once a patch for the story. For casual players, they simply have to find their own comfortable schedule, which may include getting your brain used to dailies as a habit. For endgame players, things get a bit more complicated. As you drain your jades, you no longer have the cushion to go through in case your team feels weak. At this point in your account, you start to really feel your investments, as unfortunately not all characters are equal in their cost and return. The constant rise of enemy HP means that a set of bad decisions can put you far enough behind to be unable to clear content without the jades accumulating fast enough to save you. These are the growing pains of nearly every free-to-play account, and depending on how good your investments are, it can feel worse than others. Even if you are a knowledgeable player that pulled Akron and Robin, this is the point where your account is at its lowest in power. You don't have enough of a deep account to clear more scenarios or build more teams like late game players, but at the same time, you do not have the resources to fix the problem quickly like a new player. This is where your account will be at its most awkward, and enduring the rising cycle counts and HP will be your test. And the truth is that you can be at this point multiple times in your account. Chasing Starrail's endgame is like running a treadmill. You are constantly trying to outpace enemy HP, and taking a break will set you back. Taking a break stagnates your account not only through resources but your artifact quality. Artifact quality, as much as it has a wide range, is still dictated by the amount of fuel you can spend, and reducing that is almost as bad as missing those daily jades. This is possibly where most endgame Doom posters are in their account and feel the peak of their hopelessness to the point of desperately quitting the game. Or more worryingly, you get stuck in a sunk cost fallacy to never pull the trigger and complain about it eternally. But if you somehow manage to be ahead of the curve and solve these growing pains, what lies in wait for you? For casuals that played since day one, getting to this point simply means you're now used to the release schedule and check in however you like. The temptation of endgame doesn't worry you at all, and you're just a chill guy, which is very cool. But for endgame players, after feeling growing pains for a while, one day you will pull that one single character, and after a few endgame cycles, you suddenly feel like, I'm not really worried with what I pull. In my experience, this was me pulling Robin on her rerun, which is around 9 months from when I first started. Before that point, every endgame was around 100 or so attempts, and taking an immense amount of fortitude to clear. Robin was the perfect character to round out my roster. The amount of teams that became strong and viable was so many that I can cover any endgame without needing to worry about what's next, and only looking to see what would be a more fun pull to strengthen a certain team. I didn't need to worry if I could even clear at all, since my roster is diverse enough to cover any boss, even if the HP rises. And right now I'm pretty much just pulling to cover my bases, but it's not like I need to think too hard on what to invest in as much as back then. I'm even thinking of pulling Jiaoqiu on a rerun, even if Acheron isn't the best character by the time he reruns, probably. This is why different types of accounts have a divisive stance on power creep. Veterans don't see it as an issue since their account is well developed enough, as well as their knowledge that they can pull whatever they want with low pulls. Beginners have so much resources they can conquer their weak accounts and ignorance by just pulling, while the players in between feel the worst of both worlds, not having enough pulls and knowledge, which stagnates their account into a weaker one. And with enough bad decisions, you can constantly be behind the treadmill and feel bad about yourself. Now that we have identified the issue that every free-to-play account goes through, how exactly do you solve it, or can it even be solved? To answer the latter part of the question, yes. As much as the funny thumbnails would like you to believe, no singular account in StarRail is bricked. Like I said, for the new players, StarRail rolls out units that are so cheap, you'll still be able to fix and catch up to endgame. With the amount of pulls StarRail gives per patch, all it takes is a lot of daily logins and some self-control to pull the next free-to-play powerhouse to save your account to clear again consistently. Of course, this means having one part of the equation, and it's a big one. Knowledge and instinct about the game, even as a YouTuber like myself, is hard to spread or even explain. It's something you have to feel out for yourself and a case-by-case basis for everyone. It's also the biggest factor of clearing endgame. Once the period of being able to pull and clear brainlessly is countered by the rising HP, then you have to force yourself to learn how to play better and cut a lot of cycles. In the first place, being able to recognize which is a better pull for your account is knowledge itself that needs to be taught. This is a volatile subject that can change at any moment, and is why we have such an active endgame community in the first place. I'm sorry that I can't give you any more depth to this because it's a pretty big subject. All of my knowledge in this game has been learned through 2 years of experience, so I can't really teach it that easily. Maybe I can cover it on another video, but for now all you need to know is that knowledge is almost everything to solve all your endgame issues. Sometimes it's as simple as luck. For full disclosure, my American account suffered and took longer due to the fact that I never win 50/50s. My European account will feel the mid-level burnout someday, but I win 60% of my 50/50s there, which is an insane statistic and why I cleared 33% faster. Luck is almost everything in a gacha game, I mean it's in the name, but planning raises your worst case scenario. Just get lucky Lamau is a solution. I know it sounds like a meme, but unfortunately this cannot be influenced, and I'm not gonna try to trick you into thinking that you can solve it. The other side of the equation is time. An account cannot be rehabilitated by deactivating it and leaving it alone for a few days. Your daily login does add up, and getting enough to pity that one account saving character or build better relics. Unfortunately, another element comes into play which you probably don't like. If you do not like Herta and your account is struggling, I'm sorry to say that you are disadvantaging yourself by skipping her. The reality is that not every character is valued the same and team building is essential. It's oftentimes a bad idea to pull based on what your type is. It works out in rare cases like for DOT with Kafka, Ron May, and Black Swan, but not much elsewhere. The imbalance of imaginary men, quantum short women, and mismatches like Akron with Zhao Cho means it's really difficult to make a full team of characters only you like. You're kinda forced to just swallow the pill and pull based on what's effective over what you like if you want to have an easy time on endgame, which is understandably a very terrible prospect for some people. The point is that middle of the road players are the ones suffering the most from power creep, and being at this point is why your account feels painful. Taking a break can even make strong accounts stagnate and unable to clear, but active late game players and early game players cannot relate to these experiences of power creep as they're either over it or haven't experienced it yet. But it's not an unfixable issue that lasts forever. Due to the flowing currency in StarRail, a few patches of skipping to rehabilitate and strategize your pulls to be stronger is really all it takes to save your account. Of course, you have to commit a lot to it, investing time every day for dailies, learning about the game through videos, and having to swallow your pride to get to that point. But still, there's always a road you can come back to save your account. Honestly, this experience of running a new free-to-play account made me more conscious of this fact. Before it, I leaned to the endgame player mindset of it not being too bad, but my account was already too developed to feel power creep. And now I feel like there's definitely a deeper issue on why I don't feel that way while others do. Anyway, sorry for the long yap. I don't know how long this video is gonna take to edit. I'm so sorry, but let me know what you think about this Feelscrafting theory. Again, I'm not using like solid numerical evidence. I'm just Feelscrafting here. It's literally just my feelings. So yeah, I'll see you later. And if you have different feelings, just comment it. Bye.